In today's world, it often feels like we are encouraged to spend money everywhere we turn. Social media ads, subscription services, online shopping, and the pressure to keep up with others makes managing money feel overwhelming. Many people, when they think of financial success, usually think of complicated budgets, in depth investment strategies, and endless financial products. But the truth is, the best way to turn around your financial situation is through one simple thing, and that is maybe becoming a financial minimalist. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe, a licensed certified public accountant with over 15 years experience in corporate and public accounting. I have an extensive background in accounting, audit, and taxes, and I'm all about helping you take control of your money by living smarter. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on all notifications. And check out the blog site where we post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you feel overwhelmed by bills, subscriptions, credit cards, budgeting apps, and financial advice coming from every direction, then this video is for you. Today, we'll discuss how to simplify your finances can reduce stress, help you save more money, and make building wealth much easier. Let's get started. Let's start by defining what is a financial minimalist. When people hear the word minimalist, they often think about living in an empty house with only chairs and tables. But that's not a financial minimalist. Financial minimalism means simplifying your life so your money supports what truly matters to you. It's about spending intentionally rather than automatically. So instead of asking, can I afford this? A financial minimalist asks, does this add value to my life? The goal isn't to deprive, the goal is clarity. When you become a financial minimalist, think of it as what are your true core values? If you've never tried this, you'll really find out where your core values truly lie at with your money. Instead of just going out and spending it on things that may not matter later, you start to look at things from a value perspective like what value does this add to my life? What clarity does this bring this to my life? Where am I going and who am I? So if you go in this journey of financial minimalist, you may even find yourself more than just finding out about your finances. Now, let's go on to talk about decluttering and spending. So, what you're going to want to do first is take a look at your spending. You're going to want to take a look at your bank and credit card statements from the last 3 months. And there's a couple questions you're going to want to ask yourself. What of these purchases improved my life? What purchase did I barely even notice? And what subscriptions am I no longer using? Many people discover they're spending hundreds of dollars every month on the things they really don't care about. Start eliminating expenses that don't align with your priorities. Every dollar saved can be redirected towards something more meaningful. This is the part where you really get to understand who you are as a person and where your values lie at your core. You're going to start to really look at those purchases that maybe they don't really bring any value to your life like you thought they would. Maybe you were being impulsive. Maybe you were angry that day, or maybe you were overly joyed and you decided to purchase something that you really may not even need it in the long term. And then think about those purchases that you barely even notice that come out every month. Does it really add value? Do you really need it? Could that money be spent somewhere else where it is adding value to your life? These are some of the things you're going to want to look at and that minimalists look at. Remember, being a minimalist doesn't mean that you're depriving yourself of living a good life. It just means that when you go to spend money, you're really looking at who you are as a person and your core values and what does your intentional spending mean to you and your family in the long term. Now, let's talk about budgeting for a quick moment. Many budgets fail because they're too complicated. You don't need 50 spending categories. Try to focus on as minimum as possible. You're going to want to focus on, here's a good start for you. Think about your housing, transportation, food, savings, debt payment, and your fund spending. A simple budget is easy to maintain. Remember, consistency builds perfection. And here at JMC Accounting, we're all about building the system that helps you to get into those good habits. Remember, you're here because maybe you had some bad habits, and we're trying to retrain ourselves into getting into some better habits. And by doing that, we have to start simple. We don't want to overcomplicate things. It's just like I always compare it to, just like going into the gym and you're getting into weight training. You don't want to start off with something way too heavy because you're probably not going to go back because you're going to be sore the next day. You want to start with something that's comfortable and something that's repeatable because we're building habits. Remember, we don't want it to be, we want to be consistent. We don't want to be perfect. We don't want to be perfect. We're building a system that's easy to maintain. Now, let's talk about how to reduce financial clutter. So, how do we reduce the financial clutter that have made build up over the years, the weeks, or the months that we've had maybe some of our bad habits? First thing we're going to do is we're going to ask ourselves a couple different tough questions. We're going to ask, how many bank accounts do you have? Do you have too many? That's causing clutter. Maybe some of these bank accounts are unnecessary. You may be paying fees on bank accounts that could be draining your money. So let's take a look at those bank accounts and let's try to reduce that number. Honestly, you probably really only need maybe three accounts. You need maybe two checkings if you have a spouse and you guys have a family joint account, one for your regular everyday checking, and then a savings account. You really don't need a whole bunch of bank accounts. But hey, maybe for you it does work. But for the most part, for most people, having more than one bank account or having multiple accounts really doesn't work. It just causes more clutter and more stuff you have to keep up with. Or sometimes you're even spending money because you're not keeping either a minimum balance, there's some kind of fee, or maybe it's overdraft and you're paying more fees. So you may end up paying more money. So for most people, having multiple bank accounts and all over the place really doesn't work. So we're going to want to start there to find out how many bank accounts do you actually have, and do all these accounts bring value to your life? Remember, becoming a financial minimalist is all about adding the value to your life. The next question you're going to want to ask yourself is, how many credit cards do you have? Do you really need 10 credit cards? Probably not. I would say at most, maybe you could have maybe 2 to 3 credit cards. Maybe, again, if you have a family and you have a spouse, maybe you guys have a joint credit card and then you have two of your own credit cards. And if you're single, you really don't even need 3 credit cards. You really probably at most only need two. Um, I don't see why you would want that many credit cards, but hey, if you're able to manage it, again, do what's best for you. But for most majority of people out there, you really don't need more than 3 credit cards at one time. Even having all those credit cards, you don't even can't even keep up with who you're paying, and it also causes you to go into more financial debt because you have so many credit cards out there. You're looking to say, hey, this one still has some money on this limit. I'm going to spend this on here, and then you end up robbing Peter just to pay Paul. So, do you really need that many credit cards? And again, the one thing I'm going to keep stressing is, does this having this many credit cards, having 10 different credit cards, does that add value to your life? And then the next question you're going to ask yourself is, how many retirement accounts do you have? This could be a little bit more difficult to manage as well, because if you're sending a retirement account, if you have too many retirement accounts, you're stretching yourself a little thin. Maybe you could redirect that money towards something else. Um, it's nothing wrong with having multiple retirement accounts, but I've known some people that have 5 and 6 retirement accounts, and it's like, why do you have so many retirement accounts? You really don't need that. If you have a 401k at your job, or some kind of pension plan, or a 403b, that's good enough to have that one, and then maybe have a separate one outside of that. But having 10 different retirement accounts, it really doesn't add any value to your life by having that many. Maybe you should just focus on the one at your job, and if you have one outside your job, focus on that one as well, and putting all your eggs in that basket. Just remember, having too many accounts can make managing money more difficult. Consider consolidating when appropriate and where appropriate. The fewer moving parts you have, the easier it becomes to stay organized. If you have too many accounts all over the place, you start to forget which ones is where you have money hidden at, and where it may be at. The more you can consolidate and make your financial picture come together as one, the better off you'll be. Trust me, it helps in the long run, and you'll save on some fees with some of these accounts. All right, let's talk about automation for a second. One of the biggest financial minimalist strategies is automation. Setting up automatic savings transfers, retirement contributions, and bill pays, it really helps to reduce your fatigue, your stress, and your worries. Automation removes those decision fatigues for you. Your financial goals continue to move forward even when life gets busy. One of the biggest mistakes people do is they try not to put their bills on auto pay. And I get it, you may not want it to come out because your money could be a little funny, but at the same time, if you could put I would say about 80 to 90% of your bills on auto pay, you're saving yourself a lot of headaches and a lot of time. And you're also reducing a lot of your stress because you know that that money's already coming out. The biggest thing here is we're setting up a system by creating that good budget, by looking at our spending and cutting what we can cut. And if we know what our budget, if we're looking at our budget and we know the time and the day of the month when our bills are coming out, we can always put our bills on auto pay because we already know that that money's scheduled to go out. We're no longer trying to figure out, well, do I have enough? I forgot that this was coming out this time of the month. If we set it up on auto pay and we have our budget and we take a look at our budget and we have our money day and sit down and look at it consistently, we don't have to have that panic or that stress that the phone bill went out on the 21st and we forgot all about it. Now we're scrambling because we don't have the money in our account. When we set our budget the week before, we already know already I'm scheduled to have my phone bill come out on the 21st. I'm not worried about it because it's already set to auto pay and I know I'll have the money in there. That's one of the biggest things about automating these good habits. And this, again, plays back into our system of what we're trying to do at the end of the day, which is build good financial habits. And those, remember, those small things add up to the big picture of helping us get to where we need to go financially. Now, let's talk a little bit about values. Many people spend money chasing possessions, but research consistently shows that experiences often create long lasting happiness. Think about this. Those family trips you may have taken when you were a kid, or even the experiences you get to give your children that you may not have experienced, those learning of a new skill that helps to add either to your longevity of your financial picture or even add skills to yourself around the house. Those community activities, such as a block party that you may have grown up with, or going to the community centers for different rec leagues, or even spending time with loved ones on those maybe family vacations or family reunions, or going out and meeting your neighbors and all that. These are the things that are going to be more value added and that we're going to prioritize as a financial minimalist. We're not going to worry about the different stuffs we can hoarder or that we can possess. We're really going to focus on those experiences. And this is one thing I had to learn a little bit of the hard way with my wife. She focuses more on the experiences we have with our kids versus me. I blur the line between a financial minimalist and being straight up cheap. One of the things that we decided to do was take a family vacation on a cruise. Now, I was under the notion that hey, maybe we should plan this out for 2 years. But my wife knows me; she knows I'll say that, but I won't be a man of action. So she said, you know what? No, we're going to plan this now, and we're going to go in 3 months. Now, this hurt me to my core a little bit because I am pretty cheap and I'm thinking of every dollar and all that. But I went ahead and I agreed, and now we're going on a family cruise because those memories are going to last a lot longer than us not going on a cruise. And as that's part of one of my values is valuing those family experiences, those family memories, and being able to give my kids something that I may not have had growing up. So remember, as you go along your journey of becoming a financial minimalist, it's not about possessions and what we can have and what we don't have, and hoarding all type of stuff that more than likely probably loses value over time anyway. We want to value those experiences, whatever that experience may be to you and your family or your needs. That's what you're going to want to do as a financial minimalist. Is again, being a financial minimalist is all about prioritizing value and things that bring joy and happiness to your life versus those possessions. So, what's our bottom line? Being a financial minimalist isn't about being cheap. It's about being intentional, simplifying your budget, reducing any unnecessary expenses, automate your spending and your savings, and focus on what adds value to your life. Remember, a financial minimalist encourages spending on what truly matters more than accumulating more things. Start with one small change this week and build from there. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit from simplifying their finances. Thanks for watching, and come back next week to break down how to manage bills more effectively.